Alrighty, we're putting the refurbished VOX Continental keyboard assembly back together again. And as you can see, we've lengthened the leads off the actual contactor strip, and we're putting it back in the harness. What we've done is we've previously, when taking it apart, we've made a notation of what colors are which for which footages, and we've managed to segregate each one by key and put a number on it. So this number 8 that you see is key 8, and for key 8, the footages are yellow, white, green, and brown, and they are from top down. So the unit is going to be spliced back into the assembly. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to unwrap number 8, and then we're going to sit there and trim the leads. Now this is the wire wrap, and it's all oxidized and it won't solder, so we're going to cut them down to here. And you'll find that the green is going to be shortest because of where it is in the harness. And the green will be the shortest wire. After separating them, we're going to strip them. Use any stripper capable of doing 26 gauge wire. You just have to be very careful when you get in here not to cut anything else. And there are 4 wires per key, and then the brown is the one with the best length on it. Now they happen to correspond to our new bus bar arrangement here. And for key 8, which is right here, the red is the top, this is the next down, the yellow is the third down, and the fourth one on the bottom is green. We decided on this method because we didn't have all the colors in a harness, otherwise we would have just mated them up. We're going to shrink some sleeving here. So you're going to put the sleeving on the wire. It's been pre-cut to about 3/4 to 7/8 of an inch. That's enough to cover the splice and the wire on each end. Hopefully they won't touch or touch anything else that they're not supposed to. Since the first wire for key 8 is yellow, that is the yellow wire right here. So, but that goes to our red wire because that's the top. The red wire in this particular instance is the top wire and the contact assembly. And you merely just tack solder them. After tack soldering, put the sleeving over it and put it aside. Alright, so you put a little solder, tin the wire, and that goes to the white. So it's yellow, white, green, brown, in that order. Yellow, white, green, brown, in that order. And in our case, it's red, orange, yellow, green. So they will correspond. Say like red is 1, orange is 2, we'll say 3 is yellow and 4 is green. Well, that corresponds to 1 being yellow on the harness, 2 being white on the harness, green being 3 on the harness, and brown being 4 on the harness. You want to do it this way and maintain that because of the footages involved. Okay. So we've tack soldered that one in. Wait till it cools a little bit. Slip the sleeving over it. And do number 4. take you a couple minutes on each one, and there are 49 of these keys on this VOX Continental. If this is all done right, and the contacts are in proper position, you should have no trouble, assuming the rest of the unit is operational, to play any key you want and have it come out the way it's supposed to be. Shrink them down. Now, we've seen people use pieces of tape, but the shrink wrap is the shrink tubing rather is the professional way to go. And if anything breaks, you can repair it later, and it maintains it very nicely. Lead dress is important when you're doing this. You want to sort of fan them in a certain direction. That way they'll lay flat when you turn this thing back up again and put it in. And you'll find that it makes it easier to work on it as you go from left to right. So the next one you have is number 7. And let's see, this is number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was 8. So the next one is number 9. And that's this one right here. And we've put on tape that's so good we can't get it off. I'm going to have to do a little surgery on this to get it off. But at least it didn't fall off when we didn't want it to. There we go. That's number 9. And again, what you want to do is you want to trim the leads. Because this portion right here, where it's been curly cued and it's been wrapped around a wire wrap pin for about 40 years, isn't going to take any solder. Even though it appears that your lead length is longer, it's not worth it. Alright, yellow and the white. Just clip it off and throw these pieces away. They're not going to be usable. And the next thing again is you want to sit there and strip the leads very carefully. Now these are about 24 gauge and they're solid, so you be careful you don't want to break them. And by the way, this is not a repair for you if you are faint of heart and you don't have patience. It's going to take a while. If you feel you cannot handle this, then don't start it, because it's a rather lengthy process, and if you screw up any of the footages, well, needless to say, the notes won't sound quite the way they should. And again, after stripping that out, you can see that the leads, and you don't strip it much, maybe 1/4 of an inch at most. Take number 9, which is this group right here. In an earlier section of this video, you saw us putting these wires on. And again, this was done in stages because we wanted to make sure it was done properly and nothing else was wrong. And you slip the sleeving on first. You don't want to forget to put the sleeving on, because otherwise you'll have to take it apart and do it again. These are short pieces of sleeving, just big enough to cover the splice. And of course provide a little insulation on each end. This is so they don't touch, and in this case they're also weatherproof, or at least to a degree. Alrighty, and when I say weatherproof, it is going to be such that they won't oxidize like these. They'll be covered from the air. Okay. So that'll be yellow, white, green, brown. And so the yellow goes to the first or top, And that's going to be our red lead again. Now that changes periodically as you go down the unit. After the first octave, that's going to change again, and every half octave it changes. That's the way they did their color code, and I can't do anything about that. It doesn't make logical sense, but that's the way they did it. And then the second one is the white. After tack soldering it, make sure that sleeving covers it. The sleeving has to be in place before you shrink it. Once it's shrunk, there's not going to be a problem of it coming off. Alrighty, the third one is green. We'll put a little drop of solder on there. We stroke it back and forth so that the wire gets tinned and sticks. This is called a tack solder. You don't need to twist it around or anything like that. Some people will tell you that there's a proper splice that should be twisted, and it's not necessary. Now this one's causing me a little bit of a problem. It doesn't want to go on the end of the wire. There it goes. It's just a little bit. Okay, now the next one, and this is the last of the four for number 9. We'll drop a solder on it. And onto the brown. The brown is a separate harness. And that goes in there like that. Now at this point in time, the deal is to shrink it.